Welcome to the MusicNut program. I am John the MusicNut. This is my first YouTube video on my channel. Thank you for joining me today. You may know me from The Contrarians, Grant's Rock Warehouse, Rock Daydream Nation, Tim's Vinyl Confessions, and of course, my wonderful friend John Clauser's channel, My Music Corner, where we have an ongoing series right now going on Twisted Sister, and we're got a lot of stuff lined up. It was time. It was time for me to talk about the music that I enjoy that I don't get a chance to talk about on my friends' channels. So welcome to the channel. My first episode, my top 5 favorite albums so far for 2024. If you know me well enough, you know I'm into a lot of different stuff. Hence the name, The MusicNuts. Well, without further ado, here are my top 5 favorite albums for 2024, and I'm recording this show on August 5th, 2024. Number 5. This is an artist who I've loved his music for the last 10 years. I only regret I hadn't get started about 20 years earlier. And this is Tinsley Ellis and his 2024 release on Alligator Records, which is called Naked Truth. And this came out December 9, 2024. This is an acoustic blues album. This is Tinsley on guitar, vocals, stomp box, occasional hand claps. I love his music. His last album, 2022's Devil May Care, was my favorite album of 2022. If you love what you've heard so far by Tinsley Ellis, if you've not heard him, definitely check him out. He is a fantastic guitar player as well as an excellent songwriter. He's one of these guitar players where if you go to see him live, he gets these sounds out of his guitar and he makes it look so effortless. Wonderful singer as well. Highlights on here, The Devil in the Room is an raucous opener. He's got a quieter vocal on Window Pane, which works very well. There's some instrumental songs on here, which I think are wonderful, particularly Silver Mountain. Silver Mountain, when you listen to this song and how pretty it is, it sounds like picturing a drive out in the country on a Sunday afternoon. That's what this song reminds me of. Death Letter Blues is wonderful. Don't Go No Further, which is a Willie Dixon cover, is also very strong. My favorite songs on here are near the end of the album, actually. It's Horseshoes and Hand Grenades, which is very slow and classy. And Grown Ass Man is really catchy. Excellent track. He keeps up the winning streak here on Naked Truth, and this is my number 5 album so far for 2024. Keeping in the blues genre. At number 4, from Kansas City, Missouri, Danielle Nicole, The Love You Bleed. Now, this is a different kind of blues. Danielle Nicole made her name but trampled underfoot with her brothers, and they made 3 albums. And then she went out on her own. She is a bass player and a vocalist. And she's won several blues awards. I've seen her live several times. Excellent live singer, excellent live performer. Her voice could stop time. She's magnificent. This is a follow-up to her album in 2018 called Cry No More. Now, Cry No More is a very good album. It also has a lot of guest guitar players on here, like Warren Haynes and Luther Dickinson and Kenny Wayne Shepherd. This album is the way I like to hear the Danielle Nicole band. I like to hear the original band. I want to hear Brandon Miller. Brandon Miller has been her guitar player in her band for several years, and he is just as strong as all those guitar players I just mentioned. You just don't hear his name very often. He also has some great solo albums that I highly recommend checking out. So this is very eclectic album because it's blues, but reminds you more of a 70s R&B sound. This is on 40 Below Records. A lot of variety on here. Love of My Brain is a strong opener. Fireproof is very good. Lover is Forever is this acoustic ballad that works very well. Say You'll Stay is awesome. Who He Thinks You Are is a super slow ballad that works very well. Her voice is magnificent on the ballads. Everything on here is very good. Make Love has that 70s R&B sound that I talked about. Head Down Low, Fireproof, excellent tracks. Everything on here is very good. And this is my number 4, Danielle Nicole's The Love You Bleed. This came out on January 26th of 2024. Now we're going to change some genres here. Number 3, I'm going to go to what was part of my foundation. Heavy metal. British heavy metal. This is Saxon's latest album, Hell, Fire, and Damnation. This came out on January 19 of this year. Biff Byford is the only original member at this point, but 3 of these guys in this band have been here 35, 40 years or more. You still have Nibs Carter on bass. You still have Doug Scarrett on guitar. Paul Quinn recently left the band, but he does have a solo on one of the tracks here. You got Brian Tatler is the guitarist that replaced him. He was the original guitar player and leader of Diamond Head for many decades. And you also have Nigel Glocker here, who I love to call the Dark Destroyer of British drummers on here. And he's still a monster. Fantastic drummer. From Power and Glory and Crusader in the 80s up until now, he's magnificent. Whole band is so tight. Songs here are excellent. Carpe Diem, a lot of my friends on the Contrarians really love that album. And that one's great too, but I like this one even more. Excellent title track to open the album, Madame Guillotine. Excellent track. The riff is very memorable. It's got a great pre-chorus and chorus in there. The breakdown before it goes into the solos reminds you a lot of Dallas 1 PM off of Strong Arm of the Law. Fire and Steel, Supercharger, they're very fast-paced tracks where Nibs and Nigel really shine on those. The soloing on here is spectacular throughout. I mean, excellent. A lot of great call and response here between Brian and Doug. Something Roswell's very strong track. Pirates of the Airwaves. It's a tribute to pirate radio. This is excellent. This might be my favorite track on here. 1066. We play TV picks. That's for you, Dave, you crazy cretin, you. That's another strong track. And it was great to see these guys live a few months ago. Uriah Heep won an excellent tour. I was blessed to go see them with my friends John Clauser and the incomparable Nick Esquire. Highly recommend this album. If you went off the Saxon bandwagon in the late 80s when they were changing their sound, these last several albums have been a return to form. Spectacular. This is my number 3, Hellfire and Damnation by Saxon. Number 2. Now, if you've ever seen my shows on the Contrarians, I've done some album reviews with Nick Esquire and Grant Arthur, and I reviewed part 1 of this duo of albums last year. This is Ian Hunter, Defiance Part 1. I gave this a 9.5 out of 10 on that show, and we put that out a year ago. Well, here's Defiance Part 2. This continues the greatness from Part 1. This is 85-year-old Ian Hunter, sounds like he's 55, still showing a lot of creativity, still a fantastic songwriter. A lot of guests on here as well. You have the DeLeo brothers from Stone Temple Pilots. You have Jeff Beck, rest in peace. You have Taylor Hawkins, rest in peace. You have Brian May. You have a wonderful duet with Lucinda Williams on here. And that song is What Would I Do Without You? That is an excellent track. If you love part one, you'll love part two as well. People is one of those great tracks that Ian likes to write where it's so catchy that you're not even thinking about the lyrics, but the lyrics are basically an attack on consumerism in the United States and in our society, how we try to pigeonhole people and try to put people in boxes, not be individuals. Excellent song. The Third Rail features Jeff Beck. It's also dedicated to Jeff Beck. This ain't rock and roll, and everybody's crazy but me. These are these loose, like Rolling Stones like songs that Ian's always done well, right from Mata Hoople. And these tracks kill. Excellent tracks. By the way, you also have Robin Zander and Rick Nielsen from Cheap Trick and Tom Peterson as well on here on these songs. Precious is another great song with a great chorus. That's the one with Brian May guesting on it. Weed is a slower track. Another song that's really catchy. It's slower, got a great piano playing there from Ian. Everybody's Crazy About Me. What Would I Do Without You? Is an excellent ballad, as I mentioned before. Hope, beautiful tearjerker. He loves to end his albums either really raucous or really solemn. And you get plenty of that here. Excellent album. I would give this a 9.5, just like I gave part one. So this is Defiance part two, Fiction. And this is my number two. This is on Sun Records. Andy York and Ian Hunter produced this record. My number one is Chris Jacobs, One of These Days. He's from Baltimore, Maryland. He's called the rock voice of Baltimore, and his earlier albums are more towards roots rock. This album is Americana with a heavy dose of bluegrass, which you're going to get with the infamous String Dusters backing you up and Jerry Douglas producing. And a hint of gospel on here as well. The songs here are magnificent. There is not a weak track on here. Everything is so good. Heavy Water's excellent. That's a more upbeat track that works very well. Wild Roses and Dirt is more reflective. Poor Davy has Billy Strings on acoustic guitar. This is an excellent track as well. One of These Days, the title track is very good, very memorable chorus, has a great bridge on it. I love a great bridge if you've seen any of my other appearances on shows. Queen of the Avenue, as well as Cold Cold Walls, have the more gospel feel to them. You have the McCrary sisters doing a lot of call and response with Chris on the vocals on here. And you have the legendary Sam Bush on mandolin. Lifetime to Go featuring Leanne Womack and Ashby Frank on vocals is also excellent. Everybody's Lost, fantastic closer. Very song you can easily sing along to. A lot of memorable songs on here. A lot of great hooks. Little bit of pretty good amount of variety too. He really spread his wings on this creatively. Wonderful album. Highly recommend it. This album I picked up when I went to see him at the Mock Junk Opera House, and that was the second time that I saw him there. I saw him there June 14 of 2024. These other albums that I have here on CD that I've talked about, I bought these all at my local independent record store. Joan Ardone's Gallery of Sound, Wilkes-Barre and Dixon City, Pennsylvania. More music for your money. Please support your local businesses when you can, as much as you can. Those are my top 5 albums so far for 2024. What are your favorite top 5 albums so far for 2024? Please put them in the comments. Do you know of these artists? Do you like these artists? Would you like me to talk more about these artists like this? This is my bread and butter. I love a lot of different music, but I really love the independent singer-songwriters, blues musicians I think are the lifeblood of the music industry. And these are the musicians I've been listening a lot to for the last 10 or 12 years. But I could still talk about heavy metal or hard rock or pop from the 80s on a dime, but I'm into a lot of other different stuff. Really love independent music. So thank you so much for joining me today. There's a lot more where this came from, just to let you know. Do what you love, and I'll talk to you soon.